great I am. I am whoever God says I am. In Him I'll stay, He's the master plan. I say, won't you hold to His unchanging hand? They might not like it, but I don't care. I'ma preach, speak the gospel till He gets here.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Naja. If you're new here, I just want to say welcome. So guys, I'm going to get right into this video. Okay, this is part 2 of the message that the Lord revealed to me in reference to restoration of the families, restoration of the temple and the households, and how He wants everything to be played out from this point forward. If you did not watch the first video, please go back and watch the first video so that you can kind of know in order what He is doing. Okay, now the first video is not for everybody. All right, it's very specific. Actually, the first video is specifically in reference to those who fall in an area of separation from a previous mate. If you're already married, the Lord is about to reveal some things to certain people in their households if there has been any form of sexual intimacy with someone else. So yeah, if you are someone who've had any suspicions of something like that, or it is for yourself, you know that you have maybe had, sexual intimacy with someone else, then go watch the other video. In this video, I'm basically going to be revealing to you what the Lord has revealed in reference to what's taking place from this point forward and how He wants His household to now look like from this point forward. There are a lot of people who have been married who the Lord did not put you together. You put you together. And in that particular situation, some people have been willing to conform to having a godly life and being led by what God is doing right now, and others are not. So those people who have become unequally yoked because of that, the Lord is separating those things so that the person who He's called into leadership to do those things, that they can see, they can be put in position for His will to be done, for their purposes to be seen out, seen forward, done, whatever, however you want to look at it. Okay, so yes, and this may not be a favorable message. That's okay with me. I'm just really just giving to you what the Lord has revealed to me. Take it before the Lord however you want to. Before getting started, let me go ahead and get into a quick prayer. Father God, thank you so much for the opportunity to present this word before your people. I ask that you speak directly through me. Thank you for using me as a vessel. I ask, Lord God, that as they receive this word, they take it back to you for confirmation, and that they, once have received confirmation, will operate in obedience. In doing so, thank you for your grace and your mercy. We love you and surrender to you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. So without further ado, I'm going to go through this word pretty quickly because I know that at times I can stop and dwell on certain portions of the word rather than just giving it like it is. All right. So the Lord at 2:22, the Lord revealed to me that blended families. Okay. There's going to be a lot of blended families that will be coming together. People who have been married before, not married before, or have children, whatever the case may be, there's going to be a lot of building of new homes. Okay, building of new homes, and in building those new homes, this word is going to be revealing what He is wanting to see in these new homes He's putting together. All right, first and foremost, He is wanting us to begin to celebrate the feasts of Israel. Okay, the church has definitely failed us in this area, because I do not remember ever being taught or having these things revealed to me in church in regards to celebrating these feasts. So that when I started, when I rededicated my life to Christ, I knew nothing about what these feasts were, what they meant. Was it important? I just thought really it was just feasts that were done back then. Never did I know or suspect that the Lord desired for us to be doing these things in our lives right now, every day. Okay. And so these feasts include Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Day of First Fruits, Feast of Pentecost, Day of Trumpets, Day of Atonement, Feast of Tabernacles. All right. Now, quickly, I'm going to go over with you the dates that they are presented here. So the Passover is celebrated March and April 14th. All right. The purpose is to commemorate Israel's deliverance from Egypt, which I also spoke that in the previous video about the Lord bringing us out of bondage. Okay. But some of us are still in bondage. This is to remind the children of Israel that God spared their firstborn. Okay. So Christ as our Passover. And you can read about that in John 1:29. Also chapter 19 and verse 36. 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. And 1 Peter 1:18 and 19. Passover as the foundation for the Lord's Supper, which is in Matthew 26 and 17 through 30. Mark 14 verse 12 through 25. And Luke chapter 22 verse 1 through 20. All right. Now, Feast of Unleavened Bread. The purpose of this is to commemorate the hardships of Israel's flight from Egypt. All right. To symbolize consecration and devotion to God. All right. Unleavened bread as a type of Christ. All right. You can read about that in John 6, chapter 6, verse 30 through 59. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 24. And as a type of the true church, which is in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7 and 8. Day of First Fruits. It is to dedicate and consecrate the first fruits of the barley harvest. First fruits as a type of the bodily resurrection of Christ. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 20 through 23. It's also a guarantee of the bodily resurrection of all believers. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 20 through 23, and 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13 through 18. It is also a type of the consecration of the church. Now, Feast of Pentecost. Let me go back. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is celebrated March and April 15th through the 21st. Day of First Fruits is celebrated March and April 16th. Okay. Feast of Pentecost is celebrated May and June 6th. This is to dedicate and consecrate the first fruits of the wheat harvest. And this is the outpouring of the Holy Spirit on the church on the day of Pentecost. All right. Day of Trumpets is celebrated on September and October 1st and 2nd. This is to consecrate the 7th month as the sabbatical month. All right. In the New Testament, association of the blowing of the trumpet with the return of the Lord, which is you can read about it in Matthew 24, verse 31. Also, 1 Corinthians 15, verse 52, and 1 Thessalonians, chapter 4, verse 16. Day of Atonement. And I'm just going through all of this as quickly as possible. You can always pause the video and write it down, whatever you need to do, okay? So that you can look this information up for yourself. Day of Atonement, celebrated September and October 10th. This is to make atonement for the sins of the priests and the people annually. To make atonement for the tabernacle of meeting. This is ultimate fulfillment in the crucifixion of Christ, representing his redeeming work more adequately than any other Old Testament type. Last but not least, Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, this is October 15th and 22nd. September and October 15th and 22nd. To commemorate God's deliverance and protection during the wilderness wandering. This is to rejoice in the completion of harvest. All right, foreshadowing the peace and prosperity of the millennial reign of Christ. You can read about this in Zechariah 14:16. All right, so I just wanted to briefly and quickly go through that so that you can realize that what the Lord is doing is he's wanting us to go back and build. When he's putting these homes together, he wants them to be put together the way he said families should be and what we should be celebrating and doing based on the word of God, starting with remembering and celebrating the feasts of Israel. Okay. Now, he also brought to my attention the priestly blessings in Numbers 6:22. Only when the camp was in order and prepared for the march, did God give his blessing of protection, presence, and peace. So the Lord right now is trying to put us in order, in the order he will call for us to be in order to prepare us for the march. Okay? We have to be in order. We can't be living partially celebrating certain things that don't represent Christ, having certain things in our household and our families that do not represent the heritage of God. All right? So he then says, by this blessing, God linked his name, his character with the people of Israel. Okay, so it's not until we are in order does he then link his name, his character with the people of Israel, and do they receive protection, blessings, and his presence of peace. Okay, so this is how he is putting us in these positions, by first laying out what his expectations are. Now, in reference to the families that he's putting together, he is saying that when those families are put together, do not be concerned in reference to everything already being in place before that happens, because there is exemption from warfare. There is exemption from warfare, or serving and having to fight in the spiritual war for newlyweds. Back in those days, Deuteronomy 20 and verse 7 talks about governing warfare. And it talks about how they were exempt from any service from the military for newlyweds for the first year. This was so that they could build the foundation of their family. So what the Lord is saying is, all this crap that's going on right now, a lot of this stuff we will not have to fight immediately. He is going to give you the opportunity to put certain things in place to build the home before you have to go into certain areas of warfare. Okay? Now, the Lord is also saying that he is asking for you to keep the connection open between families. Like, just because you are being taken, women, just because you're being taken from your household, if you are still living with your parents, the mindset of how it is when you are taken from your mother and father, and you then now belong to your husband, where it is your responsibility or his responsibility to take care of you. The Lord is saying, keep the connection between your parents, because they're going to be needed in a mighty way in certain areas of your life once he puts you in certain positions. There may be something that your family has that they will be able to put in position for you in order for his will to be done in your lives. So you know how some people, they get prideful once they move out. They don't want to have to ask their parents for anything. You don't want to have to believe that you're going to need their help for anything, even if you were not living with your family. All right. When you get married, the goal is for you and your husband and your family to take care of your own situations, right? That's usually the goal. But the Lord is saying, do not neglect the relationship that you have with your family, because there may be certain things he's going to put and have them be able to provide for you in the next area of your walk. So he gave that to me first, and I'm like, okay, Lord. So right after that, I will reveal to you what he stated that lines up with that. But first, he said, like Hannah vowed, okay, to commit, or she basically vowed to give, or what's the word? She vowed to offer up her child if he would bless her with a son. She was vowing to give up and offer her son to the Lord for all the days of his life. Okay. And so what the Lord used that as an example, because he is wanting for you to make a vow. He's wanting you to make a vow to honor the household, honor his way and how that household is supposed to look. As you go into this, he wants you to make the same vow. Lord, I vow in this marriage, I vow in this household and family you're building for me, that I will honor how you have desired for this household to look and to be built. I will honor you. I will honor my husband. I will honor my wife. And I will not allow anything, no matter what it is, to come in between me and what your household is supposed to look like. All that divorce because, oh, I don't feel like doing this, or he's a narcissist, or she won't give me sex, or whatever the case may be, it won't even matter. When you take on this responsibility of this type of household and family that the Lord is building, it don't matter what you don't want to do, don't like. This is going to be an honor that the Lord is going to ask you to give. Not an honor. This is going to be a vow that the Lord is going to want you to give in order for you to even receive this. This is a marriage on a whole nother level. This has nothing to do with our personal desires. This has to do with the end time church. This has to do with end time families and armies that the Lord is building up to come against all of the foolishness that we see happening right before us right now. It's not until these families are built in this area, in this way, that we can stop seeing mothers and fathers who have no type of relationship with Jesus or the Lord, and allowing their children to grow up believing that they can do whatever they want to do, and that they can butcher their bodies, that they are not how God made them, or that they're not perfect in the image that God has created them. It's not until the Lord rebuilds these households and these families that this foolishness can stop. So you have to be committed, completely committed, okay? Completely committed. You have no idea what it will cause if he puts you together in these areas with this person, with this purpose in this family, and then you decide once you get in it that you don't want to be obedient. Oh, it will be hell to pay. The Lord is not playing with the people who are making this vow. This is a vow you better be ready for. Okay? The Lord is serious. Now, in reference, he backed up why he was saying in reference to keeping the connection open with the families that they are going to probably be able to provide something. I didn't know what he meant by that until he showed me this and what happened with David and his son. Okay, so David knew that his son was appointed to build the temple because the Lord said that he would give him rest, his son rest from all his enemies on all sides. David could not build the temple because he had shed too much blood. Okay, so however, he had prepared everything for his son Solomon. Although David knew that he was not going to be appointed to build it, the Lord allowed David to provide everything that Solomon was going to need to rebuild that temple. Okay, so David could not build the temple because of all of this blood he had shed, but he knew his son was going to be the one doing it because the Lord told him. But he appointed him to have everything that he needed in order to do that. All of the material, etc., was there. Supplies for a glorious, glorious and magnificent house. He also commanded help for his son to build it from the other leaders, in Israel. God gave Solomon rest from his enemies on all sides so that he could complete his will without having any interruptions and any distractions. That goes back to what I said in reference to when he brings those families together, that they would have a time period where they would not have to fight any warfare. So this is what the Lord is talking about. There will be rest on all sides in reference to your household and your family while you are building. Okay? Now, therefore, the Lord is saying, arise and build, which means prepare. The sanctuary, which is the house, your house, to bring the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant represents the glory of God. Okay? So he is telling you to arise, prepare and build your house to bring the glory of God and the holy articles of God into the house that is built for the name of the Lord. This is what the Lord is calling all of his homes and houses to represent, and how he wants it to be built. You can read about that in 1 Chronicles 22. Hopefully I'm not moving too fast. I'm trying to get through this quickly. All right. Now the Lord is saying that once you get that house built, and you've passed that threshold of being protected while you were building, the Lord is saying that fasting and prayer is going to be needed from that point forward for protection and guidance. All right. Ezra was determined to trust God for the journey and not to seek help from the king. He exercised godly leadership. Ultimate protection comes from God. Okay, so after that year or after that time period the Lord gives you in order to prepare your household with no warfare, future protection will come from God through your fasting and praying. Ezra 8:21. All right, the Lord is saying that he will instruct you and teach you in the way that you should go. You can read about that in Psalm 32:8. The Lord, it says, blessed unity of the people of God. Psalm 133, the Lord is calling for unity. He is calling for the people who believe and who are his believers, his body, to all be in unity. Right now, we are not in unity. Right now, we are all doing our own thing. Some people feel that they can do this and be in the world. Some people cannot. He is separating that first and foremost. The wheat from the tare, the goats, okay, from the sheep. He is separating them. And as he's doing that, those who are actually representing his kingdom, he is calling for unity, for everybody to be on one accord. All right. So read that in Psalm 133. The Father is also saying in this process, you need to control your tongues. Control your tongues. Gossip. A lot of things that are being said, spoken, even in reference to the body of Christ, how we are speaking against our own people. We're supposed to be together. Now, there's a difference between speaking against false prophets, if the Lord has called for you to do that, and actually speaking on things that create division in the body. The Lord is saying, control your tongue. All right. Therefore, my people shall know my name. Isaiah 52:6. Let me head over to that really quick. Okay, this is in the NLT version. But I will reveal my name to my people, and they will come to know its power. Then at last, they will recognize that I am the one who speaks to them. Okay, so there will be an increase. As these things begin to flow in this area, as the Lord has called for you to do, there will be an increase of the Lord revealing himself to you, that you will recognize when he is speaking to you. Okay, and he's also saying after that, that will come through dreams and visions. All right. Dreams and visions will increase through this commitment of following him the way he's called for you to follow him and to pick up your cross on a daily basis. He's going to be teaching you and showing you true servanthood and what that looks like. He will guide you how real servanthood looks. There will be no more bondage. All right. As you preach Christ, as Christ is preached. All right. Philippians 1:12. Please read that. Christ is preached. The Lord is also saying that even in your jobs, the Lord is going to be calling for you to teach the spirit of truth and the difference between truth and error. 1 John 4. And he's saying to do that in love. Okay. We don't want to go to our place of business and create an uproar or create an issue to where now we're getting fired from our job. So he is specifically saying to do that in love, but in leading, allow him to lead you to do that, because there are certain situations where there will be things that are revealed to you that a person at your job may believe. And the Lord may be allowing you to see based on something they've said, something that they're wearing. Maybe they got crystals around their neck, or maybe they've said something to you to reveal to you what they believe in and how they practice, whatever the case may be. Through that, the Lord may be revealing that to you just so that you can be watchful and listen for him to tell you when to say something. But if he has not told you to say something at that very moment, be watchful, because when he does reveal it to you, he's going to give you the perfect opportunity for you to go into that conversation so that you're not coming across as if you are condemning them for their beliefs, but you're able to openly share it with them in love. Okay, guys? And so that it doesn't create any form of issue, controversy at your place of business. Okay, guys, so I pray that this has come across and that you guys understand exactly what this word is saying and what the Lord is saying right now. It's very, very important, a right now Rhema word. There is a part 3 to this message. Okay, it's going to go more into what the Lord is revealing about restoration and his expectations of us in doing so. Okay, so I thank you guys for watching this video. Please share it with someone that you know that could benefit from this word, and I will see you in part 3, because if I did not do a part 3, then this would be all 3 of them together. This would be like a 2-hour word, and there's no need for that. I want to make sure that I can keep people's attention by doing it in this manner. So guys, thank you so much for listening to this word. I will see you in my next video very, very soon. I love you.